Hello and welcome to Basava TV. You're watching Policy Watch with your host Rajat Kain. In this episode of our show, we'll take up a significant policy move on programs of study across the schools in India. Termed New Curriculum Framework, the NCF is slated to be rolled out by December 2020 in all likelihood, and the work will begin soon this year end. The NCF provides for thorough review of content, school teaching methods, removing of outdated content, and integrating emerging trends in syllabus by the NCRT, to name few moves. As the national education policy is expected possibly this year end, the NCRT will be reviewing old syllabus after 15 years. Last time it was revised in the year 2005. So what are the far-reaching ramifications of new curriculum framework, or the NCF? To discuss more on this, we are joined in the studio with our guest, Mr. Sushil Chandra Tripathi, former Secretary, Ministry of HRD, Mr. C.B. Sharma, an educationist, and Dr. Manimala Roy, Principal, Basava International School. Thank you, three of us, for joining us. Ma'am, I'd like to start with you first. As we are teaching the current syllabus, how do you view it? Is there a requirement of change in that, or for that matter, revision in that, from the point of view of a school teacher?
See, NCF 2005 was quite comprehensive, but that was a long time ago. The curriculum is for a child, it's not the other way around. So there is so much societal changes, so many new issues have come up. All these have to be incorporated in the new curriculum framework. If you talk about aggression in children, there is a small section of peace education in NCF 2005, which says that the adult around the child will have to be peaceful or peace-loving in order to create peace in the mind of a child. But that is a small section, and see the level of aggression in schools and societies these days among adolescent children. So I think that has to be expanded, and also policymakers will have to look into the matter, why this aggression is coming from where. Children are getting so much exposure to internet, and there is a gap between parents' technical knowledge and child's technical knowledge. So that is helping the child. There is so much non-functional families, and children are coming from parents who are aggressive. So when we talk about revising the curriculum framework, we are not just talking about changing the syllabus or how many periods, whether homework should be there or not. We are talking about how we can take better care of the child within that framework. So for that matter, I think it's time we look into these matters and incorporate that in the framework.
But Mr. Sharma, do you also think that there is a perhaps requirement for holistic change in the syllabus or the ways we are teaching? Because I was going through the draft recommendations, and that was focusing on certain moral aspect as well, and infusing more of Indianness in syllabus. What does those portion means or entail?
See, 2000 we had the National Curriculum Framework, and 2005 we had another framework.
Okay.
We promise a new framework every 10 years,
Okay.
but we need to look into why there was a new curriculum framework only after 5 years with a change in the government when the Congress came to power in 2004, and it promised to the nation that we'll give you a new curriculum in the schools. Why was that? We need to look into it holistically. It was said that the 2000 curriculum framework is a saffron framework, right? So what it was doing to children was making them saffronized, and it was a BJP sort of curriculum framework of 2000. Now, why I'm mentioning this is, every 10 years we need to have a new curriculum framework, because world changes, technology changes, understanding changes. So we need to prepare our children for the new world order. Since 2005, it has been more than 14 years. We need to have a new curriculum framework. In the last 4 or 5 years, what you see is a resurgent India. If you talk to children, if you had talked to children in, say, 2011, 12, 13, and talk to children today, they feel very proud of being an Indian. Our nation is seen everywhere. We are no more defensive nation. We are on the rise. So what should change? What we expect is our children should be proud of our content, our knowledge corpus. Let me give you one example. If you talk to children and ask them about aeronautics, they'll start with Wright brothers. They were the first one to fly. But that's not true. We gave the world the aeronautics. We were the first to fly planes and we have Bharadwaj and a whole literature on aeronautics in India, which is completely absent in the curriculum. It is nowhere taught. There is nothing which can be called an Indian curriculum. We must do that. We must bring that center stage. So why do we require is, we have a new resurgent India. We need to teach our children why we should be proud of being Indian. We have not done that. We feel very proud of being taught a curriculum which is Western. We know so much about Shakespeare. We need to know so much about Western science. We don't know about our knowledge corpus, our surgery, our tannery, our medicine, our aeronautics. We need to bring that in, because we have in the last 4 or 5 years completely changed the dynamics of society, the discussion and our status, our stand in the world order. That is why we need a new policy as well as curriculum. So what I would expect, as you are saying, that we will be having a new policy by the end of this year, and we should have a new curriculum framework by the end of next year. That curriculum must put national Indian knowledge corpus center stage.
Dr. Tripathi, how much does there is a requirement of changing a syllabus or a curriculum after every interval of 10 years, or for that matter periodically, as Mr. Sharma said? Is there a real requirement for that?
Absolutely. I am of the view that the changes in policy are not very much. You see, we had policy first with Radhakrishnan Commission 1950, then Kothari Commission, and then followed by a National Education Policy of 1968. Then there was a major change made during 1976, when education, and particularly school education, was brought in the concurrent list of the Constitution from the state list. So the responsibility of center increased, and it was done because it was felt that education is really a nation building sector, and states by themselves were not able to cope up. So central intervention of large measure was required. So we had a policy in 1986. We are continuing with the same policy, but now so much time has lapsed and things have changed that we need to look at it, and that's why there is a draft of National Education Policy. But as I mentioned, policy changes are few and far between, because all policies will say that children should go to school, they should get quality education, and there should be proper arrangement for every child to go to school, access, quality, it should all be maintained. But the curriculum changes quicker than the policy change, because the world is changing very fast. Today we are in a different world from we were when you might have been to school, or at least I have been to school. We are in a different world. The country has changed. Technology has brought so many changes. So therefore, when we are preparing, what is the curriculum doing? Curriculum is preparing the child to be a good citizen of a new resurgent India, as has been mentioned. So new resurgent India requires the children to come up and cope up with the challenges that are being posed. And therefore, the curriculum will undergo change both for content as well as for pedagogy. The pedagogy will also change, and the content will also change, and that is what is required. And I suppose the national curriculum framework will be a framework. It will focus on these changes and also give an outline, and then the rest is left to the state boards, the affiliating bodies, to fill up those things and bring the details into the curriculum. So that is the way I look at it.
Right. I'll come to you. Okay. You want to say something right
now?
Yeah,
I only wanted to add that, see, National Curriculum Framework is an overarching document, and 20% freedom is given to states to adapt their local content. So it is, the National Curriculum Framework is a larger document, whereas the nitty-gritty has to be filled by the states.
Right. Ma'am, without getting into merits of the political issues of that, just from the point of view of education, what are the challenges usually does the teaching faculty faces with the current curriculum? This is without the merits or demerits of the political leanings, or it was change or saffronization or something, or I mean, this is pure education.
Yes, of course. The teachers are the, I will say, the closest adults to a child. They listen more to a teacher than to their own parents, and teachers understand them also much better. In today's time, what I'll say, we are grooming the children for 21st century to be 21st century winners. I can say that they should have foresight, they should have analytical skill, they should have good communication skills, artistic talent and firm character. And as the society has changes, the responsibility of values and life skill education also have come to school teachers. So in a way, we are there for them, we are taking care of the children. So when teachers are doing all this together, there is a kind of stress that, and also due to change of society, children are also having different kinds of problems which get manifested in their behavior. So when a teacher is taking care of the child in the class, she may be fresh from a B.Ed college, learnt all those theories, but in the classroom those theories actually do not work much. So when any policy talks about teachers training, they talk about teacher understanding child psychology. But what is happening to the teacher psychology, nobody bothers about that, and that creates a lot of stress. So I'm very sure it cannot be included in a curriculum framework, but if we think about this situation, as sir mentioned, that we should be proud of our Indian heritage, but at the same time children are living in globally, they are literally living in global village. So along with the pride of Indianness, that global element should be also there. They are going to work in multicultural, multi-ethnic environment. So if they do not know other people's cultures, so that fear of the other will be in their minds. So if there is that fear, then there will be discrimination, there will be hesitation, there will be lack of integration on their part, and we are not looking at national level, we are looking at the global level, when children together coming together to save the environment. So in that situation, along with whatever, we have a lot of good things in our country, along with that children should also be aware of what how they can use that in the global platform for upliftment of whole humanity. So that is one major challenge, how we are doing it in school. And also one major section, we say that school child is surrounded by school, parents, teachers and neighborhood, but nobody talks about parents' skill formation. There is no platform, formal a platform where parents' skill formation can be done, because parents are living in nuclear families. They have not seen their parents bringing up, they have seen but long back. So they actually do not know how to handle their children. So I think there should be some section somewhere in the framework which will encourage parental skill formation. They may have too much affection for their children, but they may not be having the skill to handle the child's requirements.
Right. Well, that brings to my other question. I mean, I'll start with you, because since we have had a preliminary round of first opinion on that, does new curriculum framework also stratifies our approach towards student? Like, we will teach, or rather we'll emphasize on X, Y, Z, starting from pre-primary to standard 5 maybe.
Yes.
And then, I mean, as we go to senior classes. So I'll start with your reaction.
See, let me make one statement before I answer your question.
Without the merits and demerits.
One is, education is intrinsically a political activity.
No,
look at the, wait a minute.
It
Look at the
from
textbooks.
The prism of nationalism.
Look at the textbooks of NCERT. 104 places the textbooks have been changed because they had comments about communities, people, individuals, which people opposed to.
Will revise.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Curriculum, national curriculum framework. See, recently we have come out with learning outcomes. It has been now defined after 1 year of schooling, 2 years of schooling, 3 years of schooling, 12 years of schooling. What should our children learn after X number of years. And then we have done the National Assessment Survey, which is the largest ever survey done on schools across the world, any country, anywhere. Largest sample collected, and we have come out with the National Assessment recently. See, curriculum necessarily prescribes age, appropriate content that has to be transacted, method of transaction, and finally what the child should learn. That is why you will find from time to time various agencies doing a study and saying, look, 5th class child doesn't know the content of class 3, and that is the job of National Curriculum Framework. That is why a language issue comes in, whether it should be mother tongue, second language, foreign language, all these issues, they are delineated in the National Curriculum Framework.
Mother tongue and foreign language is also part of
everything has to be part of the National Curriculum Framework, including what age children would be imparted education in mother tongue, second language. But this has to be said in the policy. What you have seen in the Kasturi Rangan draft report, they said something about language and there was controversy, and we are working on it, and we are coming up with a solid final draft of the policy that we expect very soon to come. So everything, policy will first say, then the curriculum framework will accordingly draft the framework for classes, and then states will adapt this to their local needs.
Right. Yes, Mr. Tripathi, I mean, as I was asking about the stratification. So, I mean, what are the emphasis on between the classes?
All states do not follow the same, although we were trying to bring about a uniformity.
Is
some
it
states,
possible? Is it possible having uniformity?
We should aim.
Okay.
Initially, after 1968, we brought 3-year degree course, which used to be earlier. I did a 2-year degree course, in 1961. But after 1968 policy, we brought 3-year degree course. So all over the country, it became 3-year degree course. Similarly, we are moving. Some states begin secondary education from class 7. Some states begin with 6. So these changes have been there, and slowly we are moving towards. So what has been said, National Curriculum Framework will give an outline, what is desirable, and all states should move towards that. By and large, as has been pointed out, up to class 2, you should do in the mother tongue. In some places, the regional language is the mother tongue. Some places, there can be mother tongue, which is different from regional language.
Right.
Then, thereafter, now again depends, some states start the national language or the foreign language from class 6. Some states do from 5. But, the younger you take it up, better it is. So, if you have the capacity, you start from class 3, the national language, foreign language from class 5 or 6, because you are preparing a child for global world now. And therefore, it should be recommended that you should have the third language and a foreign language. We are, I have spent time both in China and Japan, and I see how much effort they make to learn English. And here in India, we can convert something which came to us involuntarily into an advantage. So we should not give up on English also.
Right.
Because that gives us, a window to the world.
Yes.
So that is language. Then the curriculum, as has been pointed out, it is a science and technology society. That the students' motivation towards science and technology should be built in the curriculum. In my time, people used to be fearful of science and maths. I am talking of 60 years ago. But now, it should be such that people should adopt it. Now, that is where the pedagogy comes in. Pedagogy requires more interaction with teacher, giving student, learning by doing. I'll give you an example. A student learns about geography of the world, but he doesn't learn about the geography of his village or his town. He learns about the environmental problems that are happening, but he doesn't learn about the environmental problems in his colony and his town. Right. So, it should be related to real life experience to make it more interesting. So, that way, both pedagogy and content can undergo change. I was talking to madam, and she mentioned that the media has become all pervasive. Digitization has overtaken the world. So that should be brought into both curriculum and use of technology in pedagogy. So these things will require, new skills for teachers also. Teacher training also becomes very important for this purpose.
Right, right.
But that is the way, the other countries like China, Japan, they have gone forward. Now, if you go international comparisons and assessments, you will find Chinese and Vietnamese are doing very good in maths, all over the world. Indians used to be very good at maths, but now they are slipping behind. So that is where we should again try to focus so that we produce world champions.
Mr. Sharma, I'm very tempted to ask you this question since you're a part of the committee, as you mentioned. Now, we are designing curriculum for students, but as Mr. Sharma mentioned, that world is changing, technology is changing, new avenues are rising every month rather, new apps and all those things. So are we also training our teachers or, faculty to suit the cause?
See, there are two things that we have done. One, you would know that we have our own massive open online course platform known as the SWAM, a gift to the nation of our Honorable Minister Smriti Irani ji, and a bouquet of 32 TV channels which are known as the Swam Prabha. So we have given that option already and we are working on it. The National Institute of Open Schooling and NCERT are together working. 20% of the total curriculum children can undertake from the SWAM platform. So we are preparing our children. We have made that provision already. And as we all agree, technology has become all pervasive. We already have 2 channels on the SWAM Prabha, one for class 10 and one for class 12. We are in fact working towards a complete shift in transaction of curriculum.
Okay.
Right? And 2009 we had come up with the National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education, 2009, right? And as soon as the policy comes and NCERT would prepare the National Curriculum Framework, the NCT will simultaneously prepare the National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education. So what Madam is concerned about is curriculum for school children as well as a curriculum for teachers. NCT has been working on it and it has revamped the syllabus of diploma in elementary education, the Bachelor of Education, the Masters in Education and similar other courses. What you will find the difference is technology has come in a big way. Previously it was all book transaction, classroom, but option has been given. You would know that recently, 2017, the government took a decision. We had about 13 lakh untrained teachers. All these primary untrained teachers have undergone their training through the SWAM platform. It was a paperless training of all these teachers from across the country. 13 lakh teachers, never before done anywhere in the world.
Right.
Javadekar Sahab took this bill to the parliament, got it passed, and through an act of parliament, these teachers were trained. All these teachers, online training. Now, what will be the impact? Teachers themselves have been trained online. So, when they go to the classroom, they will automatically teach children to go online. They had apps, they had online courses, they had Swam Prabha channels. So, they are already groomed into learning through technology. We expect a massive change in primary schools 19 onwards because teachers themselves, 15 lakh teachers out of the 90 lakh teachers that we have in the school system today have been trained through SWAM platform.
Dr. Roy, yes, I know you are keen to answer this. So, is there a self-drive among the teachers? Because, the policy will change when it changes. But for teachers, as things are changing, how are they adapting to new environments?
Most of the young teachers are app savvy and computer savvy and tech savvy. So, they do not have any issue teaching with technology. And technology in education is not, the challenge here is not the challenge of teacher, whether teacher is able to use the technology or not, teacher is able, and even those who are not, with some training they can. But the issue is that children are using the technology. Suppose teacher gives homework online, so he will or she will tell parents, ma'am has given homework. So parent doesn't know, and the child is online, and whether he is on Facebook or whether he is doing the teacher's work, the issue is there. So that cannot be covered in policy framework. That comes with the parental teaching, which I am emphasizing on. And as teachers training is going for 4 years, I don't think that is required. In 1 year, you can teach teachers whatever theory you want to give, child psychology and lesson plan and everything, and let the teacher come to the real field the next year. So 1 year theory classes in the colleges, and then next 1 year compulsory mandatory internship in a school, which can be paid internship. So each B.Ed college can have their schools assigned and teachers can go there. So when the teacher is in real classroom, then comes the real learning, and let them be assessed then, and after 2 years the certificate can be given. And the policy says,
that's what policy is about. I mean,
and policy says that there should be incentive for children, bright people to come into teachers, to come to the field of education. But scholarships will not bring bright people, intelligent people to teaching profession. On the other hand, if you can provide some kind of social incentive for this profession, like if a teacher is buying a car, there is some discount, or if the teacher is going to hospital, then there will be some kind of preferences given. So all those social benefits may attract people to come to teaching. Otherwise, if you observe, teaching profession is full of women, because men think that much salary is not sufficient. I will not say after 7th pay commission revision.
I am tempted to answer one question.
Very short. Yeah,
very quickly.
Let me finish this. So now people are coming for money, but earlier only women came because they didn't have that much requirement for money, to be very honest. But the social incentives will genuinely influence people to come, and I do not believe in 4 years teachers training program.
So
I'll quickly answer this question.
Yes.
2015,
30 seconds.
The government of India had formed a Siddiqui committee to review the National Council for Teacher Education.
Right.
We travel. I was one of the members. We traveled across the country, talked to teachers, talked to trainee teachers and students. 4-year B.Ed is a requirement. We keep talking about Finland. We have 5-year teacher training there. We need time to prepare teachers. 1-year teacher training was absolutely not sufficient. It has to be 4 years. But what perhaps is going to be the policy is 4 years after 12th, 2 years after graduation, 1 year after masters. So if you decide to become a teacher after masters, you will be able to teach one subject and you will be able to do 1 year. But if you want to do a B.Ed after your graduation and teach 2 subjects, you have to do 2 years. But if you decide to do, and this is a policy. Another thing that we actually suggested in that policy was, let us have a national test for assessment who want to become a teacher, and 1 lakh teachers, 1 lakh people must be selected from the top and given full scholarship to be trained to become a teacher. If we want a vibrant school system, we must pay the students scholarship to undergo the B.Ed program of 4 years.
Right. I'm sorry, time is short, but it was excellent, churning, lovely discussion with 3 of you on national curriculum framework. So certainly, sir, I'm ready. Okay, please, sir. In 30 seconds, sir.
I have been chairman of National Teacher Education Council. So I just wanted to comment on what has been said. You see, teaching is a profession like lawyers and doctors. Those are 5-year degree programs and then further specialization if necessary. So I agree, there should be a 4-year degree program for those who want to be junior school teachers. For senior school teachers, then they should have another 2 years and 1 year. So I think that is what will give them pride in their profession, and also the society, the respect that it used to give to teachers will come back.
Right.
We still are the most respected people.
We have to wrap it up here. I'm sorry but seriously, thank you for joining us, and thank you for giving all the insight on the National Curriculum Framework. Thank you for watching Policy Watch. Keep watching Basava TV for more. Thank you.